Hello, hello! Vaughn here again with Spirit of Health. And we are going to show you how to make pancakes and a little bit of a variation of the pancake. We're going to show you how to make some muffins, GAPS-friendly pancakes and muffins. Now these pancakes are going to be stage 3 of the GAPS diet. And if you're progressing through the stages and you're at stage 3, I'm going to give you a very specific ingredients. It's 4 ingredients to make these basic muffins. Now if you're past stage 3 and you've moved on and maybe you're in the full GAPS diet, I'm going to show you some variations of some things you can do if you're at that stage and at that level. But the basic 4 ingredients are a good sea salt. We have Celtic sea salt. We have almond butter, or you could actually use another type of nut butter, but we love the almond butter and we made this fresh in our own home just recently. And we have butternut squash. Now you could use acorn squash, you could use zucchini squash, but some type of a squash. And then the final ingredient is our eggs. So those are the basic 4 ingredients for the basic pancake recipe that's stage 4 of the GAPS diet. Now if you have problems with nuts or nut butter, you'll know because you have digestive issues, maybe you feel clogged or congested, maybe you have some type of a constipation issue. A lot of people aren't ready for nuts, even at stage 3 of the GAPS diet. So you have to pay attention. If that's an issue for you, then you need to, well, we'll actually show you a variation in which you can eliminate the nuts or the nut butters and still make a really yummy pancake. So let's just go ahead and get started in making these yummy pancakes. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to crack my eggs. And I'm going to do 5 eggs. Okay, so you got that first ingredient, 5 eggs. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, of course, these are farm fresh eggs. You can tell by the nice, big, thick, yellow yolks. Number 5. Now, in the book, in the recipe, and this is, by the way, page 94 of the Internal Bliss Cookbook recipe, it says to separate the eggs and the whites, and you blend up the whites first really good. And supposedly it makes them a little fluffier, I guess, but we just found that we just put the eggs in there and whip them up, and it actually worked out perfect. So we're all set here. So I'm going to just whip these eggs up real good. The whole table's shaking. All right. So we have whipped eggs. Now I'm going to add this entire cup of the butternut squash. We really like the butternut squash because butternut squash is kind of sweet. So acorn squash is really good in this too. So there's my butternut squash. Here's my 1 cup of almond butter. Ooh yeah. Got a cup of almond butter, and then we're only doing a half a teaspoon of the sea salt. Okay, so I'm going to mix this up now real nice. And again, if you were GAPS stage 3 and just introducing these for the first time, this is it. This is all your ingredients, and you would not add anything else to this. Okay, we're back, we're whipped up, and we're ready. We got these 4 basic ingredients, and I whipped this up really good. Now, I am going to go ahead and add some cinnamon and some pumpkin pie spice to this. And again, you wouldn't necessarily do this in stage 3 because the GAPS diet doesn't really recommend starting spices too early. So we're going to say that we're in the full GAPS diet, and I'm going to go ahead and add some cinnamon, about a tablespoon or so. I'm going to go ahead and add some pumpkin pie spice, a good teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, because we really like the spices in there. And so I'm going to just blend that in here real nice and easy. Okay, so we're all set. I'm going to take this little, this is about a 1/4 cup, and I am going to grab some of this batter, and I'm going to go over here and make a little muffin, or a little pancake. And we already have our stove kind of heated up here. And I'm going to put a little ghee. I'm going to put a little ghee right here. on the skillet. And we love to cook with ghee. It's like our new favorite thing. You could do coconut oil, you could do butter, but we love to cook with the ghee. Especially if you're in stage 3 of the GAPS diet, you really want to use the ghee. That's the most recommended. So I got a little 1/4 cup here of a batter, and I'm going to get my pancake going. Turn up the heat just a little bit. Okay, so now while this is cooking here, I want to give you a couple ideas of a couple of variations you can do. One thing you can do is if you are having issues with the nuts and the nut butter, as we mentioned, you can make this exact same recipe and you cut out the nut butter. So you just have 3 ingredients. You'd use your squash, you'd use your sea salt, and you'd use your eggs, and you make the pancakes just like that, and they still taste fantastic. So that's a nice little variation you can do if you have issues with the nuts and the nut butter. But what we're going to show you next is something really special. We are going to show you, and we just made this up. I don't have a good idea of how we exactly decided to do this, but we did, and it worked out fantastic. So we're going to take this pancake batter recipe, and we're going to turn it into muffins that are delicious. And what we're going to do to make the muffins is we're just going to add 3 new ingredients. First thing we're going to add is we're going to add 1 tablespoon of the coconut oil. We are going to add, I'm going to go ahead and do this next, I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. And then the last ingredient I'm going to add for a little sweetness. Now if you were on the full GAPS diet, you could do honey. And the recipe on page 94 of the Internal Bliss Cookbook actually has a sauce that uses honey. But again, if you're in stage 3, 4, 5, going through, you've introduced the pancakes and you just want a little bit of sweet into it, we use stevia. Now stevia, of course, is a plant that's naturally sweet. There's no sugar in it. It's perfectly safe to use, and it's what we highly, highly encourage. We don't do a lot of sugar. We do some natural fruit. We do a little bit of honey. We basically follow the full GAPS diet. But this English toffee stevia, this is sweet leaf stevia. That's the brand. People have asked me what brand of stevia we use. English toffee stevia it's just amazing. It makes things taste amazing. So for this particular recipe, I'm going to actually put 5 full droppers of this English toffee stevia in here. So 4, 5. So 5 full droppers of English toffee stevia, and now I'm going to mix this all up, and we are going to have an amazing, oh my gosh, that toffee, you can just smell that. It just smells so good. And now we have our muffin batter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some muffins. And to make these muffins, the first thing you want to do is you want to grease your little muffin tin. And I really encourage people to make mini muffins out of this, because it takes a while for this to fully cook through. And if you make a big muffin, it might be hard to get it cooked all the way into the center or baked properly. So you just want to maybe use the mini muffins. Okay, I think I need to go flip my pancake here real quick, so give me just a minute. All right. So now, again, I got my muffin batter here, and it's all set to go. And I got my muffin pan nice and greased with coconut oil. That's very important. This will stick. And as I said, the mini muffins, that's very important so that they cook all the way through. Now you want to bake these muffins at 350 degrees. And you want to bake them for about 30 minutes or so. That's what we found about the rough time. It could be a couple of minutes longer, but about 30 minutes. And you want to use the toothpick test. So you put a toothpick in them. When you pull it out, the toothpick should be clean. There should be nothing wet or sticky on the toothpick, which means it wouldn't quite be done yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this into this little container here that'll make it just easier to pour these little muffins. And it'll take me a few minutes to pour all these little muffins. So I'm not going to do all that on this video, but what I'm going to do is just go ahead and fill these up and put them in the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. I'm going to enjoy my pancake as well, And there you have it, how to make GAPS-friendly pancakes and muffins. We thank you for watching. From our kitchen to yours, we love you. Spirit of health. Until we meet again. Bye-bye.